Good evening. Welcome to Convention of States Indiana Live. Do you think we have a big problem with our federal government? If you do, stay tuned because we at Convention of States have a solution as big as the problem. Our broadcast host is Dale Parrish. He's the Convention of States Indiana State Director. Take it away, Dale.
Well, thank you, Maringo Mike. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our broadcast for January 27th. We have a great broadcast lined up for you this evening, and so I hope you'll stick around and stay with us this evening. As usual, our format is such that the first segment, we are going to do a discussion topic, and we have a little different topic for you tonight. I'm going to bring in our co-state director, Paul Phillips, and we're actually going to show you how to open an account with Convention of States and basically how to become a supporter of Convention of States. Now, we didn't have this capability in the software that we used for this broadcast prior to the first of the year, but now we have a new piece of software, and it gives us the ability for a guest, which Paul will be a guest tonight, to share his screen with you. So hopefully it'll work. It worked in rehearsal, I'll say that. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that it works. This works this evening. So Paul will take us through the steps of actually becoming a supporter in Convention of States, and we'll look at some different aspects of our website and some things that are available to us. And then, time permitting, we'll get into, we'll talk about some of the current information. We'll bring you up to date on what else is available to us in the state. Some current numbers on the how we are doing in the state. And time permitting, again, we'll get into the basics of Convention of States, the tenets that we, and not only here in Indiana but nationally, the three tenets of Convention of States that we all go by. Now, I also want to mention to you that we want to hear your comments. So if you're viewing tonight, please feel free to make a comment. We'll try and recognize those comments as best we can, and we'll try to respond. And but so once again, if you're viewing and you want to make a comment or ask a question, feel free to do so. Now, you'll see the crawler going across the screen here regarding technical difficulties. If the screen goes blank or freezes up, just understand we've encountered a technical problem. So don't wait around for us. Just plan on joining us again next Monday evening at 7 o'clock. So enough said on that. All right. Well, let me bring Paul into the broadcast, and we'll get started. Here you are. There he is, Paul.
Hi, Dale. How are you tonight?
Good. Glad you could join us, Paul.
Glad to be here.
Well, Paul, you've got some things lined up for us. Now, before we get started here, I just want to say that in Convention of States, we utilize technology a great deal. And I remember, Paul, back when I first joined Convention of States, I was not very up on a lot of technology. And I can remember then a lot of new people coming in were kind of like me. They weren't very good with a lot of the technology. But I think that has changed. Would you agree with that it's changed over the recent years?
Yeah. One, getting people with a little bit more technical background, but also just by volunteering and working with us, one of the side benefits is you develop some technical skills. I can think of people who started out who had, trouble logging into Facebook, and now they're savvy with all the tools that we use.
Well, believe me, I can remember, and this is our website that I'm showing right now, and that's you can get started here. But I can remember, Paul, back when I first started, that if we'd have told someone to go to the website conventionofstates.com, many would have to have some help on how to do that. So,
Right.
So things have changed a great deal, and but I just thought I would want to say that, if you're one of those individuals that you still haven't gotten into much technology, just come along with us, and we'll bring you along as best we can. So, okay, Paul, you want to?
I know where you're going. You want me to share my screen, right?
I want you to share your screen. I hope it works.
Oh, it's working.
It worked in rehearsal, so hopefully it'll work tonight. Okay, I see you're still. I need to bring you up then. I need to bring that screen up. Okay, and I'm going to. Our audio is still on, so I'm going to.
There we go.
There we go. Okay.
Okay, so this is our website, and you see the URL in the banner on the bottom, Convention of States, all one word, conventionofstates.com. And the first thing that you can do when going to conventionofstates.com, underneath our banner ad here, you're going to see a section where you can sign the petition. And the purpose of this petition is simply to let your specific state legislators know that you support Convention of States. And as you can see, it's pretty easy to do. You just come in here and you click and fill in first name, last name, email, all required. I want to make a note here. Your street address is required too. And this is very important, because without the street address, we cannot identify who your representatives are. So when you're doing this, please be sure to fill that out. I'd also like to point out, although these are checked, send me email updates and text messages. You're in control here. We're all about self-governance. And if at first you don't want to receive emails or text messages and just get the petition to your legislators, that's fine. But once you fill in name, email, and address, you click on send to my state legislators. And what's going to happen actually depends on the state that you're in. So I'm going to start with, if you're in a state other than Indiana that has not yet passed the Convention of States resolution, a petition is going to be emailed to each of your state legislators, your representative and senator, which says, please support the Convention of States. And actually, this is probably the most important thing you can do to help us out. It takes you just a few seconds to fill it out, but what's really important is being able to show our legislators the amount of support that we have in the grassroots. Now, in the case of Indiana, and probably most of you are in Indiana, if you complete this, we are not going to directly email the petition to the legislators, because our resolution is already passed in this state. And it certainly doesn't make sense to send them petitions asking them to support a piece of legislation that's already passed. But what does happen is we aggregate your petition with other petitions in the district. We count them together, and we frequently give the legislators updates of how many of their constituents support Convention of States. So even though we've already passed the resolution here in Indiana, collecting more petition signatures is very important, one of the most important things that you can do for us.
Now that's very important, Paul. Being able to go to the legislator at a later time and and talking to that legislator and being able to tell the legislator how many constituents in their district have signed our petition and support us. That's a very, very important piece of information. So signing this petition is still very important.
Yes. So I believe the next thing on our agenda, Dale, is how to create an account. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
So creating an account is easy, and creating an account will get you more in the process of receiving information from us, getting updates. It'll make it easier for you to keep track of what you're doing on our site. And it's simple right here at the sign in button. If you click on that, you have some choices. You can directly sign in with your Facebook account or Twitter account, or if you like, you can sign up using an email address and password, and you get to select your password. But once you do that, you'll be signed up and have access to more things on our website. So that's something very easy to do.
Yep. Okay. Now I think you go ahead.
Now, if you go to this Take Action link up at the top, you will find the ability to register for an intro webinar. And we do a daily webinar every evening. So if I click on that link, it will take me to a spot where I can get registered. Now, it says join webinar in progress because the webinar is 7 p.m. every evening Eastern time.
So it's going on right now.
It's going on right now.
Okay.
But if you say, well, I can't do it tonight, but I can certainly do it next week, Monday, you can select the webinar that you sign up for. And it's a brief half-hour webinar that will give you a full introduction to the Convention of States project. Okay. So that's a great resource for somebody trying to figure out what we're all about.
Okay, we're going to come back to this Take Action tab in a minute here, but you wanted to mention some other resources?
Sure. So one thing you're going to want to do is figure out what we're all about, and attending the webinar and looking at these resources may be something you want to do even before you sign the petition, and that's great. We want thoughtful people in our movement and those that do their homework. So there are some videos available here explaining a convention. You can even find more videos. And then we've got links here, our top 5 resources that people look at, a link here to explain the Article 5 process, how that works. Maybe you've got questions like, I've heard this is going to happen or a convention is dangerous. You can get the facts on that here. And also look at endorsements. It has some items you can print out to spread the word. And we've even got a link to some of the scholarly research that validates what Convention of States is doing.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go back to the Take Action again here now.
Okay. So we'll go back to the Take Action page. And again, the most important thing that you can do for us to take action is signing the petition. And you can see that pops up here on the Take Action page also.
Okay.
But another great thing, I think next on our agenda is the volunteering, right, Dale?
Right.
Leader. Okay, well, I'll talk about become a leader first. If I click that link, we have a number of leadership positions that are available. And the way to think of these positions is these are the ones for the most committed. These are people committing to our cause, to an outcome, maybe who have some extra time to commit. The position that we probably need the most help with is a district captain. And that would be the main person in your excuse me, in your state legislative district. You'd be the main contact. We'd want you to build good relationship with both of your legislators and be a resource to your grassroots, and perhaps doing events in your district to recruit more supporters. But you can click on the show more to learn more about any of these positions that we need to fill. Now, below that, we have some volunteer positions. And the way I describe this is these are very important positions. A social media warrior. If you're competent or comfortable with Facebook and Twitter, we could sure use you on those teams. We could use people with content writing skills to help us with articles. Prayer warriors, or simply a volunteer. If you're just available for whatever might come up, volunteer just as a volunteer. And when we need your help with something, we'll let you know. These positions, volunteer team, I would say is more a commitment of some of your time, like whether you have an hour or two a week to dedicate to this. These positions are excellent, and it's actually a great way to get started with us. A lot of our people in the leadership positions have gotten to those positions by starting out as a volunteer and moving up. And what I'll do is a little bit of the praises of our host here, Dale. Dale started as a district captain. Hadn't ever met with a legislator before, but found out his state senator lived right down the street from him and met with her.
That's right.
And before we knew it, Dale got moved up to a region captain. So he was over a number of district captains, and now he's right here. He's the chief. He's the state director, and so that's an example of sort of, you may want to call it a career path or a progression that can happen if you're willing to volunteer with us.
Paul, scroll on down to the volunteer positions. Just a quick plug. We need a state content writer that has some experience or interest in doing a newsletter. So any of you out there that maybe would have a knack for that type of thing, please look at this position. And if you just want to be a super volunteer and be on call to be utilized as needed, where needed, then we also have a position just called a volunteer. So keep those in mind when you look at these. All right, Paul, thanks. Okay, want to look at the state web page real quick.
Sure. Now, this is easy to get to, and I'm just going to go up to the address bar here. And if I get rid of the take action and I simply type in Indiana, so conventionofstates.com/Indiana will take you to the Indiana specific page. And this is where we've got content of interest, basically to people here in the Hoosier State, articles on a gathering that we had, radio interviews that some of our volunteers have made. Oh, look at this, COS Indiana Live. You are here. So this is some of our folks at a gun show recruiting volunteers. So just lots of local stuff there on the state page.
Okay. All right, great. Okay, let's say they want to contact their legislator, or they want to communicate with the legislator.
Okay, that's under the take action page as well. And we have this option here where you can call or email your legislator. Now, this one takes a second to load. There we go. So our state has already passed the Convention of States resolution. So that does not share with the legislator. So let me go to the other place that does. It threw me for a loop. because I expected to see that. Well, I'm not going to hold it up here, Dale. That didn't take us there, but
Okay. All right.
Let's just move on to the next one since that didn't work the way I expected.
Okay. Well, the next one's our final one, and that's of course donating.
Okay, so we've got a donate page. So if you want to donate to our cause, we would very much appreciate it. We had, obviously have a page for that. I don't know that there's much to say about that other than if you want to donate, please do.
Unfortunately, we have to say something about this because this is what we exist based off of donations. So and donors. So it's very important, and we don't want to forget to mention that. So all right. Well, I think that pretty well covers it, Paul.
Sure does. So go to our website as soon as we're done with the broadcast here and sign the petition. At least that is the biggest thing that you can do to advance our cause.
All right. Good deal. Thank you very much, Paul.
Sure.
All right. We'll get you out of there, Paul. And okay. Well, we're going to go on here to the next segment. And in order to do that, I need to bring up my PowerPoint presentation. And in order to make sure that you can see that completely, I'm going to initiate the slideshow option, which will give it a full screen here on the PowerPoint. So very quickly here on resources, we obviously just went over our main resource, the national website, conventionofstates.com. I'll try not to repeat everything that Paul said, but and of course we showed you how embedded in the national website is our state website page, conventionofstates.com/Indiana. Now, social media. We're on numerous social media platforms. Facebook is probably our main one. We have a state Facebook page, Convention of States, Indiana. As a matter of fact, the broadcast this evening is coming to you through the state Facebook page. YouTube channel, COS Indiana. Now, this is very much an educational resource that we've created for you. We have a number of narrated PowerPoint presentations. We have recordings of our broadcasts. We also have links to a podcast that Paul Phillips, our guest, does. It's called the Free to Be Free podcast. And he's done a number of podcasts. They're very, very good. We use them frequently for resource material. But we have a link then to each of his podcasts. So I would very highly recommend to you that you listen to those. We're on Twitter, hashtag COS Indiana, Instagram, Convention of States Indiana, LinkedIn, and we're on a number of other social media platforms. So if you're into social media, you should be able to find us out there. Okay. Little quick some information regarding some numbers that you might be interested in. In 2019, we surpassed 41,000 supporters here in the state of Indiana. We've been growing at a tremendous rate here in Indiana, as well as nationally. But we've been growing at a great rate here in Indiana. And we're setting now as our goal in 2020 to reach 52,000 supporters. And we feel that that's very much in reach, and we're off to a good start so far this year. So we're looking to reach to meet 52,000 supporters. And just for your information, folks, as short as just 3 or 4 years ago, I can remember us only being at about 14,000 supporters here in the state. So, um, like I said, we've been growing tremendously. Of the supporters, we've got about 2,900 volunteers. Now, these are our individuals that have indicated a willingness to volunteer if called upon. So we have about 2,900 of those throughout the state. Right now, we have about 40 individuals in a leadership role in the state, and this is the area where that Paul was talking about in the take action menu selection from our website. If you have any interest in looking at becoming or being a leader, looking at one of the leadership opportunities that we have, um, you click on that menu selection, take action, like Paul said, scroll down to the Become a Leader area and look at the different volunteer positions that we have. Read about it. If you're really interested, open it up some more, read about it some more, and go ahead and make application. Now, you're not obligated in any way when you do this, but what happens is then when you make application, your name comes up on a report that I see every day, as well as a few others. And one of us then will be in contact with you to further discuss your interest in that particular position. So this is how you get more involved. If you've made a New Year's resolution this year to get more involved in convention of states, this obviously we want you to become a supporter. When there's no doubt about that. But this is how you can get more involved in convention of states by looking at taking on a leadership position in our state. All right. We're going to, as I said, time permitting, we're going to forego the basics section of our presentation this evening, the Convention of States basics. I'll just show you what that involves, and that's the problem, the solution, and the plan. And we'll go over these at our next broadcast, hopefully, if we have time. So this is something I like to go over on every broadcast. This, again, these are the basic tenets that we believe in Convention of States. And you can find this information, once again, on our website, conventionofstates.com. All right. Well, I'm going to come back here to our screen and let me get the PowerPoint out. And there I am. So let's see. We'll just see. We've got a couple here, people that have tuned in this evening. There's Sue Lyon. She says Rick and Susan, both Rick Lyon and Susan Lyon are here. These two individuals are probably our two newest volunteers to come into our organization. Rick Lyon is going to be our events coordinator, and his wife Susan is going to be a social media warrior. So welcome to both of you, and thanks for tuning in this evening. Now, let's see. Jerry Rowe, one of our systems information analysts, submitted a comment tonight. Technology is hard to spell. I'm kind of thinking that maybe I misspelled technology somewhere on one of my screens here. I think he's trying to tell me that I misspelled it. I don't know. I'll have to have to check that out anyway. But thanks for tuning in again, Jerry. Appreciate you coming in this evening. All right, folks. Thank you for joining us this evening. I want to mention now our next broadcast, which is going to be on February 3rd. And this is going to be a great one. Of course, all of our broadcasts are great. I must say, okay. But we've got a special one lined up for you for February 3rd. You know, one of the things that in Convention of States, one of the things that we want to do is we want to attract young people into convention of states. And you know, I'm and I don't think we're unusual in that manner. Other organizations that I belong to, that was also a major objective, was how do we get young people involved in our organization? And so we face the same challenge here in Convention of States. So next Monday evening, I'm going to have two young people on. I'm going to have our state Young Americans for COS coordinator, and she happens to be Paul's daughter, Maya Phillips. And Maya's going to join me on the broadcast next Monday evening. And I've also lined up one of our national interns. His name is Weston Boardman. He is currently a senior at Hillsdale College. And upon graduation this year, he's going to be going into the Marine Corps and into officer candidate training. And as a matter of fact, Maya will be graduating from high school this year, and she's already slated to attend Patrick Henry University. So I've challenged these two individuals. Maya is very much focused on the state of Indiana, and where Weston has been working as an intern at the national level. But I've told them our topic is how do we get more young people involved in Convention of States. So that's what we're going to be talking about next Monday evening on our broadcast. So it ought to be a very good one. So please plan on joining us. Well, let me close out this evening with my favorite quote from Mark Meckler, one of our founders and currently president of Convention of States. And he always says, you know, there's a fundamental question facing our country, and that question is not what should we do. The question is who will decide. So the question facing us in our country is a two-word question, very simply, who decides. And ladies and gentlemen, we think that in Convention of States, we the people should be playing a bigger role in making various decisions. And you know, quite honestly, we feel that what we're trying to do here is we're trying to save the country. And that's what this is all about, because our country is facing some fundamental issues and questions that need to be addressed. So and we believe, like I said, we believe we're trying to save the country. So I would encourage you, if you want to get involved with us and get and become part of this movement, we would love to have your involvement. So it's still January. It's still a new year, and this is the time. If you wanted to get involved, this is the time to do that. And go to our website, conventionofstates.com, like Paul described, and get it done and join us. So with that, I want to say good night to everyone, and everyone, please have a good night, and look forward to seeing you next Monday evening at 7 p.m. Good night, everyone.